Welcome to H2K Infosys. H2K Infosys is a e-verify business based in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. We provide 100% job-oriented, instructor-led, face-to-face, true live online software training programs. It also includes access to cloud test lab with software tools. We provide live project for you to work on. We also provide assistance with mock interviews, resume preparation and review, and job placement assistance. H2K Infosys is trusted by so many students across the world. H2K Infosys provides world-class services in IT training with real-time project work for corporates and individuals, special IT training for MS students in the United States, software design, development, QA manual and automation, performance testing and maintenance, IT staff augmentation, job placement assistance, and tech support.
Running this class, right? When I say ignore, that specific method, that specific test method gets ignored. It doesn't run this method. Let's say I have a test case for a specific functionality, right? And let's say I'm modifying that functionality for an enhancement or something, right? So in that, if a suit is running like, at regular intervals, we make it as ignore so that until we finish the functionality, we just want to ignore this test method, Manoj. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I think Sachit and Manoj are having some kind of a chat here, right? Manoj, you were explaining on how to execute the unit test cases from command prompt?
Yeah, it's the same like Java. Just compile it and run it with package name or directly.
Yes, yes.
And JVM is considered because it's unit test.
Yeah, your voice is a little low. I mean, I'm able to understand it though.
No, I mean, I'm connected through phone. So basically what I was trying to say is, he was asking, there is no main class in that JUnit class, whatever we wrote. Sorry, main method, sorry.
Yeah.
I was explaining him because it's a JUnit test case, JVM will consider that one.
Yes, when we just run a class, if there is something annotated with @test, the JVM understands it, right?
So JVM understands that execute this particular piece without having main. So let's say I don't want to do JUnit, and in any other class, if I put @test, so
when you put @test, it becomes a JUnit, right? It becomes a test method.
Okay.
It's a JUnit because this like you cannot have this @test without JUnit. If you see, this test is part of JUnit.
Okay.
And folks, one important thing, like, JUnit is a different library. So when we want to use JUnit, we have to include it when you're using some kind of Eclipse, right? So if you see, go to a project, we add that specific library. See, I have this JUnit code here. How do we add it? Properties. I mean, I'm sure you all know it, but I'm just reiterating it. So, I mean, if I don't have it, my JUnit doesn't work. So I can go to add library, and there is JUnit, the JUnit code, and finish. So, like if you have it like a jar file also, you can just get the jar files and include it. So the JUnit jar file should be present in the build path when we are using this JUnit. Otherwise, these classes doesn't get recognized, right? So these things are part of those jar files. Like as we have already included, like the Hibernate dots, and we're using Hibernate. Right, we will having servlet jars in the project when we are using servlets, right? Even when we are using some tag libraries like the JSTL tag libraries, we need to include the jar which contains those tag libraries in the project build path. It's applicable with everything. Like the JUnits, we have to include the JUnits.
What is this static import?
Static. I mean, the classes present in this package, I mean, they have the static methods actually. So if you see this, when you're calling, right,
is it like necessary to put it? Means I don't know. It's like Eclipse is doing it for us. If we remove it.
Can you just open that package?
Package? I mean, you just want to see whatever is present in it?
Yeah.
I think it gets different methods.
Method?
Yes, it gets all the methods and which are static. All these methods which we see are the static methods.
Okay.
Yeah.
Itself is a class, looks like.
I mean, it more looks like importing. I mean, it gives us the ability probably to import a specific, specific method usage actually. So you don't need to get everything out of it. Although there all seems to be like, different methods that we use, right? So whatever you're using like asset equals or asset null, all those things are methods, right? We have seen the asset equals and asset null here, that is a method actually. Right? These are methods to take some arguments. These are not like classes, these are all methods. These are all static methods.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
So, Neha, one more question. So, is the JUnit is a part of the Eclipse, or we need to add a kind of plugin separately?
A JUnit is part of Eclipse. I mean, this one which I'm using is part of Eclipse. You have part of Eclipse, JUnit library.
Okay.
So at least me, I haven't downloaded any library or plugin for integration with this. I think I have the Java EU developer Eclipse, so it's just part of it. If you're trying to...
I just tried to create a JUnit class and it automatically downloaded the package. It asked the jar actually.
Okay, you don't see it like when you just go to any project, like, whatever you have. I mean, when you click on add library, do you see this JUnit? So if you see this, you can proceed on next and select the version and say, it's like you're getting just a part of it. Like when it says finished, right? You should see it in the project next to like the GRE system library. You should see it.
Yes, I am able to see that. I just started.
Okay.
So, I have one more question. Like, how to add the documentation for any specific, or let's say I need to add the documentation for servlet or any other JSP specific or other methods. So, how to add those, or like where to get those documentation?
I mean, if you're writing, see, we don't change the documentation for servlets or something. If you're writing some code, it's a documentation of commands that you provide, right? It's we who have to provide a documentation for our class, right? So
no, what about the existing method, or if I need to look for detail?
You see, if you're using any servlet class, like if you're using servlet 2.0 or something, in Oracle side, they have the Java docs that are associated with that. But everything, they have the Java docs associated with it.
So we can add that, or can we download those documentation and put in the, map to the Eclipse? Is that possible?
Actually, you have like a plugin which extracts those jar files and get it. If you open the class, they have the docs, the comments or something inside it. I think, Manoj, you did the extraction of the jar file in in the during our first few classes, right, Manoj?
Yeah. What's that?
Extracting of a jar file and getting, sorry?
Extraction of jar file?
No, see, we want to see let's say I'm using string or some other class, right? So I want to see the string code, right, which is associated with the Java docs and everything. You did an extract or conversion from the Java class files to the Java files, right, after extracting the Java file?
Yeah.
So we have some
documentation that way.
Sorry?
I didn't see any documentation.
No, I mean, you have the comments and everything inside the class itself, right? It's an open class. It is.
Depend upon what decompiler you're using. It's depend upon decompiler. It will
Yes.
be similar for different.
Yes, I mean, it's basically we have to convert the class files into Java files. That's what I'm trying to say, right? Because I'm just double checking with you as you already did it.
Yeah.
Or, you can go to Google and see Java doc of the specific class. I'm sure you will see it in Google.
So if you download JDK at that time, you have multiple options like.
Yes. The basic JDK, you have an option. From the Oracle site, you can download the Java doc directly.
And it will appear in so whatever.
Mm-hmm.
How to generate our own documentation for our own class?
I mean, like whatever the comments you are putting it in your class, you want to separate it as a kind of document. That's what you're asking?
Not comments. It's like, okay, I'm developing an API, and I want to use somebody else. I want to somebody use it. So I need to provide a documentation. I'm giving a jar. So basically, whatever classes you want to use, he needs a documentation.
We provide them. We should first provide them as part of the comments, right?
Okay. No. What I'm trying to say is I'm providing a jar.
I mean, we have the Java doc command if you want to exactly generate the Java doc. You can specify a package. We have a command Java doc to generate the Java doc.
Okay, so we need to issue separate command for that one, right?
Yes.
Okay, and it will generate.
So there is we can specify the source path and all these things, but you have a Java doc command to do that.
Okay.
And so, yeah. There's a kind of different annotations. That you can put it inside a method, like before, after class, before class, and all these things. And we can do some kind of an additions. Like we have already seen the assert through assert solve, right? When we just say in a specific scenario fail, right? The fail is actually used for an unreachable code, right? If you want to check if a point in your code is not reached, we keep the method fail in it so that the test case fails before it gets completed. That's the kind of very rarely used, and whatever we pass is just optional for the file. It's just to get back the message, but it's the kind of we rarely use it because these kind of things could be achieved with normal Java efficiency. And the prominently used are comparing the objects, comparing the results, making sure it's null or not, equals, assert true, and assert false. So we have assert same, which checks both the variables are referring to the same object. It's like double equals comparison. But when you say assert equals, it's it's checking for the equality. So we have this kind of different assert methods to to assert the results that we get from the methods that we are trying to test. Let's say if I'm trying to test a specific method, we call the method, we get the data from it, and we assert it, depending on the functionality. We want it to be true or false, null. Let's say if you have a method, get connection as part of connection event, which is supposed to return a connection. So what do? We just call that method and we assert null. That's the test case. Let's say I have a test case, test method saying test get connection or get connection test, right? So what do? I just call connection const is equal to get connection, and I say assert null of const, right? So let's say I insert it. and I want to test that insert. How do I test that? First, I do call it insert method, and then I call a get method by passing the specific parameters. That should return me an object, right? So I say assert equals the size should be 1. I mean, that's how we actually test by using these decisions. And the same is used to compare differences. If you want to see an example, right? Let's say let me make a simple test method. I mean, we usually don't declare like variables like this in the test, but I'm just doing this just to show you the difference. So why am I using S2 is equal to new string? Because I wanted to create a new string, right? So what happens when I just say ABC? I think we discussed in the previous class. What happens when I say string S2 is equal to just ABC instead of saying a new string?
Create a new object.
It doesn't create a new object when I just say string S2 is equal to ABC, right?
Yes, it will create a new object in the non-string pool.
In the constant pool, right?
Yes.
So what happens when I run this test case? Will it pass or what happens? When I run this test case?
It will fail.
Am I getting it? Okay. I mean, what is the reason for it to fail? Someone said it will fail, right? What do you think is the reason to fail it? I mean, there's nothing harm if you say wrong. I mean, if you just say why you think that it's failing. Those are equal objects, right? Those are equal objects, right?
Yeah, I think we discussed like they are located on the different location. One
no,
on the
but
here.
the contents are same, right? Those are two different objects, but the objects are equal, right? So what happens when we say S dot equals S2? It will return true for us, right?
Yes,
because
right.
these two objects are not the same object, but those objects, the contents are same, right?
Right.
They're meaningfully equal objects, but they are not the same object, right?
Yes.
So assert equals compares.
No, what? You just change the access modifier, right? Yeah, that's it. That's what you did.
For this method,
Yes.
yes, I made it public.
So before it failed, it returned an error.
I mean, actually, the test methods have to be public. These methods, they have to make them as public.
Okay, for every test method, irrespective of whatever you test.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
So if I want the two references, right? If I want two references, let's say, they're pointing to the, they're pointing to the same object, right? They both are pointing to the same object. We use the test same. So what will be the result of this test method execution, folks? It should fail, right? Because they are two different objects, right? Both the references are not pointing to the same object. There is a difference between assert same and assert equal. It's like an equal method. Assert equals actually does.
Compares the values.
No, equals compares the, yes, exactly. Equal compares the content. Just like think of it as an equals method, it is same as an equals method, and this checks for double equal.
Can you issue an intern method on S2?
Sorry, can I?
Intern method, S2 dot intern.
Here, S2 dot.
intern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, before the same asset same.
And you want to run this?
Yeah, run it. It'll pass this time.
Say, what does the intern method do? I mean, it doesn't.
Add it in a constant pool, right?
No. See, it adds it in the constant pool, but this is a different object. But S2 will be pointing to the object that is present on the heap, right?
But if object is going in a constant pool.
Yes.
Won't reference.
See, no. What I'm saying is, let's say this is a constant pool. I mean, so the diagram is a constant pool. Let's say here you have an object ABC, right? See, you have an S1 pointing it here, right? But S2, it will create an object if the same object is not there in the constant pool. But S2 is actually pointing to an object which is actually present on the heap, right? I mean, you can just check equals also. Internally, the functionality is just equals. So it's pointing to an object that's present on the heap. Those are two different objects, right?
Yeah, that's right. But if you issue an intern or execute an intern on an object, a string object, you will add it in a constant pool.
Yes, it does. It adds this particular thing in the constant pool. But this, on this line, his object is already created and S2 is pointing to it. It doesn't change the reference of the S2, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So when you say S2.intern, it checks here if it is not present, it creates an object in the constant pool, but it doesn't do anything with this reference, or it doesn't break this reference and make S2 points to this. This doesn't happen, Manoj. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah. So I was checking this one because if you have lots of strings in your project, go outside that permanent generator space. So I was using intern.
You just make sure you have it in constant pool and it refers it somewhere, right?
Yeah. So the constant pool is it's like permanent generator space we are calling it as. So,
yes.
When lots of strings are in the constant pool, it will explode and it will go out of memory. Not memory, permanent generator space. So what I was doing is I was executing an intern method on a string object most of the time. I was thinking like it's referencing to same object again. Trying to reference in a...
No, it doesn't make it to reference to the same object. That doesn't break the references and do. It doesn't happen. Even...
Yeah. No, I got it now.
Yeah, I'm just making sure, everyone could go wrong. I'm just trying to see that it's double equal. To my knowledge, it doesn't. So I'm actually making more sure at asking. Yeah, it doesn't actually. It doesn't do anything with the reference connection. As I said, it doesn't break this and make it this. That doesn't happen.
So Neha, you are running. I noticed you are running. Can we run individual tests? The method in this JUnit because you are selecting test 2.
Yes, I can just select this method and run it. That specific method also.
Okay.
But usually, we run it as a suit, but in general, when we are writing the test case, we want to make sure if this one is failing, right? You don't want everything else to run everything else to waste time and confuse you. When you're just working on this, we could just run the specific test method, selecting this method alone.
Okay.
And if you have multiple test classes, right? So we can just make it as a suit and, we can run this suit. If you have multiple test classes, you can just put it as a suit and we can just execute the suit. It runs all the test classes that's present in, comma separated, we can mention suit classes and we could run this as a suit. If I say, I have one more test class which has just one test method right here, right? So if I run this test suit, it actually runs the test methods present in multiply test as well as, just hello, I'm JJ first. So when I run this. So it's actually running this multiply test as well as this particular methods in this particular class also. If you see on the left part. So we could create a suite and we could put different test classes in a test suite.
So in this case, they are executing using the different test, or they are using the whatever the JUnit test we wrote here. They are using the exact same test.
See, actually they execute the test methods present in these classes one after the other. I mean, instead of saying run test class 1, test class 2, and doing multiple runs, you can put it in a test suite and it runs the test classes one methods in the test classes one after the other, the test methods. That's what it does.
Okay.
So folks, any doubts?
I have one doubt. Actually, I joined late, so I understand the before and before class. I saw one more thing, after and after class. So
yes.
The
after class gets executed only once after the completion of all the tests.
Okay, so
after all the test cases are finished, this particular method, which is annotated with after class, gets executed only once. But the method which is annotated with after gets executed after each test.
Okay, so that means if I'm mentioning database connections in before class, we
close it in the after class. That's what.
Okay.
The code which you like open or do some stuff to initialize in the before class, we try to clean it up in the after class. It makes more sense for it to do it in the after class, right?
Okay.
Because when you do something which want to be there, which has to be there for all the test executions, we just don't want to close the connections just after the first test case execution, right? We want to close that specific connection after the execution of all the test methods, right?
Okay.
So we put it in the after class method.
And if we are creating objects, we are dereferencing it in after.
See, it may we have to decide it on the usage of that object. What is the purpose of the object that we are creating? How far it is. The connection object cannot be like if you use right. You understand what am I saying? It's basically on just how you are using that object across the test methods.
Okay, because if I'm testing my class, so I need to create an object for that class in each method.
Yes. See, sometimes you want to reinitialize the topic, the object again. Let's say I have an object I have created for a test method 1, I modify it. But even for the test method 2, I want the same object. That is the reason we have a before method which gets executed before each test method execution, right? So obviously the cleanup we have to do after the completion of each test method, right? That's why we put it in an after method.
Okay. And why there is a static in front of after the import on?
It is done at the class level. No matter how many number of test methods you have, it runs per class.
What I'm saying, when we're importing asset equal or whatever it is, we're importing like import static.
Sorry. I thought are you asking about the static before the teardown method too?
No, I'm asking about importing. You see, at the beginning of the class or this class file, we import the asset equals. So when we are importing it, import static.
When we do that, we can use that method without specifying the class name.
Specifying the class name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No. That's the input. That's why we are doing import. That's I know. What I'm trying.
So okay, let me explain you some more. We a math class, right? So if you want to get the value of, let's say, the 5 constant in it, right? So how do I get it? I say math dot file, right?
Okay.
Is it double by default? Right? Let's say I do import static. It's java.lang. Right? I can just say fine. Right? Without this import, let's say it gives me error. Right? You understand? I think someone else asked the same question.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a doubt over here about the static after import. I mean, is it allowed or?
Yes. So see, without this import, right? Without this import, you don't get it here, right?
No, that is fine. That is fine. I'm asking about the static.
I'm explaining about the static only. Let's see, we are importing some static members of the specific class. Phi is a static variable inside the mapped class. So we are importing the static variable here. That's why we are using import static.
No, if I say java.lang. st, then even then we need to put the static before that.
See,
lang is a package.
no, we are importing the package. We are not importing any static methods of it. So we cannot put it as static, right?
Okay.
I cannot put this. Or at least if I'm saying java.lang.math, right? I cannot put the static import. I should just say import it.
Okay.
Right?
And when
Because I'm using the static because I'm importing some members, static members of it, I'm using it. Because phi is a static member of java.lang.math class, so I'm using import static. So here you are getting from the asset class, you're getting some static methods, that's why we are doing a static import.
Okay. We are importing all the static methods from the asset class, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it gets all the static members, whatever, like, but here we just have methods, but I'm saying it gets all the members.
So many of our students have given testimonials on how our training programs are. You will find them on kudzu.com and on our website H2KInfosys.com. On our website H2KInfosys.com, you will also find more detailed information on who we are, the courses that we offer, what each course covers. Also, if you're interested in a demo program, please register on our homepage on the left-hand side. Just give us more information about yourself and we will send you a link for a demo class. The demo class is absolutely free. Experience our commitment by just attending an orientation workshop at no cost. Our team of faculty and advisors are here to guide you with the right information. If you still have more questions, please feel free to call us. Call us at 770-777-1269. This is a United States number. If you're calling from the UK, call us at 020-337-17615. You can also email us at training@h2kinfosys.com or h2kinfosys@gmail.com. Thank you for watching our videos. We wish you a great career in information technology.